Yeah, so today I just wanted to have a chat a bit about our safe property product. Some of you may know a bit about it, some of you may not, but I believe it's a great product, one that certainly I believe is a product for the future, really. It's probably one of the best products I've seen in the last 28 years. I didn't invent it, so I'm not saying that because I invented it. I'm saying that because I just think it'll cover off many people and the ability for them to be able to buy property, whereas before many people didn't have that ability to buy property. So some of you have probably heard about fractional investing and the concept of fractional investing. It's not new. It's been around for quite a while. I guess the difference with the way that safe property product works versus regular fractional investing products is that regular fractional investing products have traditionally been done as unit trust models. So you're buying a share of a unit trust and normally paying an exorbitant fee every year in management costs. And that's why people in the past have been a bit funny and a bit dubious about the idea of entering into those sort of agreements, understandably. Safe property is a little bit different, the way it works. It works on the fact that you can buy your fractional share under a tenants in common model. So effectively you'd be on title. You are a shareholder of that property on title. So it's a very different model, very definite model, and one where there's no extra management fees or ongoing things later. So I'll go through this presentation for you guys. If you have any questions as we go, feel free to ask, because it can be a little bit hard to remember things towards the end. But yeah, feel free to just ask a question if you need to know, and we can go through it and certainly try and give you guys a bit more of a heads up about the safe property product. So can everyone see that okay? Anybody? Just let me, one person let me know.
I think it. I can see your screen, Anthony. So
Can you see the safe property there?
No.
Oh, okay. Let me stop sharing and try again.
There you go.
Okay.
Yes,
There,
perfect.
we can see it now.
Right. Okay. Sorry about that. Don't know what's going on there. All right. So safe property, in fractional investing. So one of the common comments that I hear when I speak to people about investing, obviously we do our NDIS product, which is one of our specialties. It's one of the specialty products that we do as a business. We design them, we build them, we manage them, and we have over a 95% occupancy rate in our NDIS homes. So we are very good at knowing what the market needs and where it needs it to be able to get tenants. And that's why we've partnered with the guys at Safe to build our product, because they believe our product is one they feel very confident in investing themselves, seeing as they'll be a majority shareholder of one of these safe investments. But obviously, people's biggest comment to me is they, I would love to buy a $1 million NDIS SDA property in a high growth area, getting me an excellent rent return, but I don't have enough money. And that's the story of most people's lives when they want to invest. The majority of people don't have enough money to invest. I think when we talk to people about investing, we're probably speaking to the top 15% of the population. And out of that top 15%, we have to try and convert people to want to buy a property through us. And I think this safe product really then targets the other 85%, which is really the sort of iceberg below the water. All those people who would love to look at buying an investment property or being involved in some sort of investment property, but they just don't have the capacity, ability, or whatever reason they can't. But the safe property product allows these people now to be able to jump into that and have a look at the idea of investing, which is something they probably never would have had a chance to do before. So the idea of fractional investing is pretty straightforward in the way this model works. It enables you to buy a portion of a property, allowing you to get all the benefits of owning a property without all the expenses. So effectively, as you can see, the breakup of a safe property, you've got the 65% shareholder at the bottom who's safe. Then you've got they're selling off effectively 5% shares, 5% shares in each property. So you would have the ability to buy 5% share in that property, or all 7 if you wanted to. So SAFE retains 65% ownership of the property, and they manage all the day-to-days and ongoings and everything to make it easier. So they run the sort of back end and admin side of running that property, and your clients effectively just get a rent check in the mail every month, and they don't really have to be too involved in it. So it's a very simple way of owning a property for most investors wanting to get in. So the different people, I guess we would consider might be interested in a SAFE property, but this is not limited to at all, because there's a lot of other people that we're coming across who are looking at SAFE investments for different reasons. Obviously, young investors with a small cash deposit, investors who can't get approval to purchase a property outright, SMSF investors with cash in super, looking to get a better return, conservative investors not wanting to commit to a large investment, investors looking to diversify, so they might buy 5% in 3 different properties rather than buying 15% in one or one complete property. So there's a number of different people from different, I suppose, walks of life and stages of life that would be interested in the idea of investing in a SAFE property. We're certainly seeing a number of, as I said, these people come forward with different scenarios and why they want to do it. So basically, from as little as $45,000 cash in, an investor can buy into a SAFE property. They're purchasing a 5% share of a property when they do that. You are on title as an owner of your share, so you're actually on the rates notice, you're on title, and you get all the capital growth benefits. So if it grows by $100,000 in 12 months, that property, then you've made 5% of that. So that's how it works. You can sell out at any time, benefiting from the full capital gain on your share. But if you decide you wanted to sell your share, for example, SAFE property have first right of refusal. They require you to get 2 valuations from professional valuation companies. They'll average those valuations out, and then basically they'll pay you that amount to pay you out if they decide to take up their right to purchase, which they most probably will. If they don't, then we're happy to on-sell that person's share because there'll be plenty of people who want to buy them as ongoing shares. The rental returns on the property of up to 12% per annum, paid monthly. So a 12% per annum, you're probably going to be putting about 60,000 in as your deposit, and on your 45,000 in, you're probably going to get about 8 or 9% return. So the returns are still very good, and they're investing obviously in that NDIS disability space, which is we know we can control very well because we run the management. So what am I investing in? Well, as I said before, NDIS SDA property, accommodating people with disabilities. So 14% of the Australian population are on the NDIS. It's about 4 million people. And the scheme itself is a $30 billion a year scheme, which is paid for by all of us. Okay, they increase the Medicare levy by 0.5%, cover the $30 billion a year, and we all foot the bill for the NDIS. So it's not going anywhere. It's not something the government have to fork money out for. This is already budgeted. It's a bipartisan decision. It's here to stay. So if anyone wants to argue about your clients, give you grief about, oh, but I heard it's going to shut down, and well, there's about 4 million people that are currently voters that currently have disabilities. Where are they going to go? So this scheme has been taken from the state governments by the federal government to be run. So I really doubt that it's going anywhere because it needs to stay there to look after all these people. So 6% of those 4 million odd people will receive NDIS SDA funding, which is Specialist Disability Accommodation Funding. So we design and build and manage our own NDIS SDA homes. Our rental returns are up to 12%, as I said, paid monthly, and we currently have over 95% occupancy rate. So definitely something that is certainly worth looking at when it comes to the numbers. There's 2 parts, obviously, to owning a property. First part is the growth side, which is obviously where you're going to get your capital growth from. We believe that the major things to be looking for in an area when we choose our areas are infrastructure, government spending, and population growth. If you have strong infrastructure projects, strong government spending, strong population growth in those areas, you'll get strong capital growth. Pretty much how it works. If you have poor levels of those three elements, you won't get much capital growth either. So definitely we're trying to target areas we believe are going to get good, strong capital growth over the time. We get to choose where these properties go. So the advantage is we get to choose the top shelf stuff and where it should be put. The second part of that is obviously cash flow. You want to get good rent return, you want to get good income from your property, and we want to try and maximize that. So obviously choosing the areas is one thing, but making sure we're getting good cash flow is another. Some areas are obviously stronger with cash flow because they're better positioned. Other areas are lower on cash flow, but might be better on growth. So clients can hedge their bets between a number of properties and spread out their risk if they want to, and put their money into different areas. That way they can sort of have their cake and eat it too. So what does an NDIS SDA home look like? When I explain NDIS SDA to people, I always say to them, I'm always going to give you the explanation, including all the good, all the bad, and all the ugly. Because I think the biggest problem when people sell NDIS properties to people is they don't explain the bad and the ugly. They just explain the good. Everyone gets excited. They get, oh, this is wonderful. My life's going to be, this is like winning lotto. This is going to be the best thing I've ever done. And they get involved and they realize, oh, there's a lot of challenges in this space. There's a lot of challenges in this space, right? Don't be mistaken that NDIS is not a magic, magic pill that can be taken to just fix everyone's problems. There are a lot of challenges around tenancies, around working with the NDIS, around a lot of factors. Obviously, we call them challenges, not risks, because risks are things that kill you, yet challenges are things that can be overcome, and we spend our entire day working through overcoming the challenges. So that's what we specialize in. We're challenge specialists, and dealing with the NDIS is certainly a challenge, and we work with that daily, and we understand how to do that. So, we like to explain the good, the bad, the ugly to people. Another part of the ugly is, I guess, what's being built out there. There's a lot of homes being built out there that, to be honest, may be fully compliant. In other words, they may have ticked all the boxes to get their certificate to say they're a compliant NDIS SDA home. That doesn't mean they look any good. All right. Normally compliant means ugly. All right. So if someone says, oh, I built a compliant home, that normally means you build a home that looks like a hospital. Okay. People aren't stupid that come out of hospitals. They want to come and live in a nice looking home. They don't want to come and live in another hospital. So the key thing in this is understanding what we sell versus everybody else. Here's an example of other people's products, not ours, other people's products. This is a disability home, which, if you couldn't already tell, looks like a disability home from the street. It's got the disability ramps, which obviously are fully compliant, but it's also fully ugly, right? So everything about that home screams disability, screams no exit strategy, screams, I wonder what it's going to look like inside. This is already my first impression. Well, I can tell you what it's going to look like inside. There's your toilet and bathroom, right? Not sure whether it's a photo or of a prison or a hospital or even the local park bathroom, but it doesn't look like warm and inviting bathroom to me, right? Just because you've got a disability doesn't mean you have to be treated like a prison inmate. And effectively, that's what this bathroom has been set up as. It's ugly, it's compliant, but it's ugly. The second one's of the kitchen, same thing again. Compliant kitchen, but it's extremely ugly, right? I don't know what the designer was thinking about, but it really doesn't have much appeal to it. And if I was wanting to move into a disability house and I could spend the same money out of my pocket every week to live in a beautiful one that was a Rolls-Royce version, or live in one that looks like an old beat-up Corolla, I know which one I'd be going with. Right? It's the same, cost them the same money out of their pocket every single week to live in a good one or a bad one, and they get to choose. Right? So that's a classic example of some ugly. So the good, we believe we create a pretty good product. These are our homes from the front. As you can see, they don't look like disability homes. We've designed them to be a regular house in the street, has regular street appeal, and people like the look of them. Inside, as you can see, same thing again. Our kitchens, they look like a regular kitchen. The TV cabinet here, the only giveaway is the screen panel, the Perspex panel in front of the TV, where they protect the TV in case people throw things at it. But you can take that out and you can turn that into a normal TV cabinet that would look fine. Right. So ideally, we're all about creating a product that does look like a regular home, does have that real appeal about it, so that participants want to stay in this home longer because they feel like they've actually moved into a nice home and not into a hospital. That's our bathrooms, as you can see, fully compliant bathroom, but a nice bathroom, a lot more inviting for people to be in. It's a lot less prison looking. So which one would you choose? Pretty simple. Right? They're going to choose a nicer looking one by all means. So let's get to some numbers. This is an example of one we did in Sanagra in WA. We sold this one out very early on the piece, but it's just a good one for numbers. $1.2 million. It's a dual key 3x2. Shares in this one was 60,513. And the yield on this one was going to be 12.78% gross yield. This one here is in Queensland, in Caboolture, one of the top suburbs in Queensland for people with disabilities to be living in. So a very, very good spot to be investing in. Obviously, you can see the share price is higher, but that's because the land's higher. So returns there of 9.92%, still a great return. Dual key again, 3x2. This one here is in Tarmore in New South Wales. Once again, a lot higher price point, but a lot higher opportunity for growth there. I can tell you now, I've got a client that bought there about 8 months ago, and I reckon she's made about $200,000 already on her land value in the last 8 months. The prices there have gone ballistic ever since that airport is starting to look like it's taking shape now. People are realizing, well, I better start jumping into this area, and it's going crazy. So definitely a place, that would be good for capital growth. Not a strong income, but 8.68% gross rent return in basically in Sydney versus what normal Sydney rent returns are about, 2.5%. It's looking pretty good to me. So it's a good investment for someone who wants to get into some Sydney property. So I've done a quick PIA just to give you a bit of an idea on some numbers. Look, there's a lot of factors that come into this. Is the person buying in their own name, in a super fund, in a trust? There's a lot of factors that come into this. But I've just done a basic one here for someone who's buying in their super fund, a 15% tax rate, $1.210 million property, 7% capital growth. The rental income there of $151,000 a year, which is for the two participants on a dual key. Basically, when you boil these numbers down, they'd be about $1,800 a week positively cash flowed on the complete property. So you times that by 5%, I think it works out to be about $91 a week positively cash flowed. All right, so for them, someone investing in a property like this for some cash out of their super fund, they're going to be about $91 a week positively cash flowed. Not a bad position to be in, where you're probably not getting anywhere near that on your current super fund investment. So I've done some other numbers to give you a bit of an idea. Now, I've kept it pretty conservative with these numbers, right? So obviously purchase price is $1,210,000. You invest your $60,500. In 5 years' time, at 7% growth rate, you're going to be worth about close to $1.7 million, which means your value is now $84,850. In 10 years, it's $119,000. In 20 years, it's $234,000. On the income side, in year one, you've earned $7,550. In 5 years, now I'm not allowing for that to change. I'm assuming over the next 20 years, the 151 doesn't change. I'm being conservative on the numbers, right? So in 5 years' time, you've earned $37,000 in rental income. In 10 years' time, you've earned $75,000 in rental income. And in 20 years' time, funnily enough, you've earned about $151,000 in income, right? So very good income numbers. If we add all that up, in the next 5 years, if you basically were in a position where you've earned your property, your value now has gone up to $84,850, and you add the rental income to that, you're now effectively in a position where you've got, you could cash that money in for $122,000 now. So you basically doubled your money in 5 years' time from a gross perspective. If we start talking 10 years, that's about $194,000. But if we start talking 20 years, then you're up around $400,000 that you've made on a property that from a $60,000 investment. Now, one thing I think this product is very good for is I really think this is an amazing product to help with what I'm real passionate about, which is generational change in people's wealth positions. The report came out recently that Gen Zers or Gen Zers, they're not going to get into their first house now till they're 40 years of age. So if you've got a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old, let's say today, and you're putting $20 away every week in a bank account for 20 years, you'll be able to hand them a check for about 25 grand, including interest. Right? It's not worth it. If you had, which people in Sydney, for example, have got so much equity in their homes, not funny, but a lot of them haven't got the borrowing capacity. If you had a bunch of equity in your home and you were able to borrow $180,000 out of your equity in your home and go and buy one share each in one of these properties for your 3 kids, basically by the time, in 20 years' time, these guys are in their 20s, you could hand them a check for $400,000. That's going to certainly give them a leg up. Not only that, it's basically cost you nothing to do it because you're positively cash flowed from day one. So the opportunity with this product is huge. The opportunity to get people's lives and get them steaming ahead at a rate they've never done before and to set their kids up for their futures, which basically will cost them nothing to do it, is a great opportunity. So as I said before, there's many people that could look at doing this, but that's one I reckon that is huge. And when we're in this position where you can leverage this sort of thing to this sort of position from only such a small amount of money to start with, you'd be mad not to do it. So for mums and dads out there, wanting to help their kids, this is a great opportunity, a great product to be able to do that with. Basically, that's it. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I don't want to complicate it and make it any harder than it is. It's a very simple product, very simple process. It's got great opportunities to make some good dollars for your clients, starting from a very small base. And the good thing is they own their share and they can do what they want. So is there any questions, guys, you have today around anything that I've said? No questions at all.
I think there's a question, Anthony, from because we were talking about like his recent reservation. That is from Peter's son, right?
Peter, yep.
Is Peter
Peter
still on the
asked a
call?
question. I don't have the writing on I don't have the questions here, so I'm just.
Oh, I didn't write anything.
Oh,
I've talked to you one-on-one, Anthony. So
yeah, me and Pete talk all right.
Right.
We've talked all about it, so Pete understands it pretty well. So
yeah.
Joey, maybe you can just let everyone know where we are up to in regards to the reservation process, because I spoke to Peter this morning and previously there was a bit of a challenge that Peter had in regards to getting an agreement signed, and that process wasn't working as smoothly as perhaps it should be. So where are we up to with that?
Yeah, because currently what happens is, Chris, we have the sales advice from Supervest Anthony, right? And that is a PDF version that they need to download or they need to print, get the clients to complete and sign, and they send it to Anthony. Right now we have finished our landing page to find more about safe property investment. This presentation is actually on that landing page as well. We have the FAQ, and this landing page is dedicated for the members to know more again about safe property investment. There's
they're good,
also
and you guys can use this to do your
Yep.
presentations too. So that's fine.
Yeah, we uploaded this presentation on the landing page, and that can be utilized by the members again. We have the reservation process there. Right now, the sales advice is the PDF form from Supervest, where again, the members need to complete, get the client to sign and send back to Anthony. Now, moving forward, what we want to achieve is a seamless process when it comes to reservation. So we are working on an EOI where it is fillable online. It's not through PDF. It's an online form. It can be completed by the members or the clients. The clients can sign it online as well. And it must be sent back to Proeprty in a box. So we manage from EOI until dispatch of the contracts. So that is what I strongly suggest, Anthony, as well. What we need to follow when it comes to reservation. So it will be like, a seamless process, not complicated, and it
No.
won't be like confusing to everyone.
We just need a copy of any
Yep.
deposit, receipts and things like that too. Obviously that's sort of, once clients pay their $2,500 deposit through,
Yep.
then that calls for the contract. Once the contract then gets issued, the single part contract, within sort of 10 to 14 days, basically they'll sign that and pay their balance of their money at that point.
Yep.
Now that they understand that the money goes through to funding purchase of the land, it goes through to some of the build, if there's enough there to do that. Like, they're actually using that money to start the process and get things cracking. So they also can, if they require and if they're concerned, they can put a caveat of interest over the land for their deposit amount if they're concerned about what their money's being saved. So that is a thing they can do, but that's just done through the solicitor. It has to be done the right timing as well. So, but they can do that.
Yeah.
Anthony, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Just a point of clarification. This is Bob. Hello.
Yeah.
What is the timeline in terms of an investor investing on a particular NDIS property? When he starts to sign off an agreement to become an investor, how long will that take in terms of gathering all the monies or to build the NDIS property until such time that it will be fully built and tenanted? What's the timeline there?
Yeah, look, they don't wait for all the shares to be sold before they start committing to building it, right? Just so you know that to start with, right? So if your client jumps on board, the process has already started. They're already underway doing their thing in the background. The timeline really would be, if I had a client today that paid a $2,500 deposit, and then within the next couple of weeks they paid their full deposit, I would say in the next 8 to 9 months the property be finished. We don't have tenants moving in. They then be converted to a single part contract, which is when they go on title at that point at the end. And then once they're on title, hopefully we've got tenants moving in and they're getting some rental income. Now, another thing too, which I might add, that there's a rental guarantee for the first 3 months. Okay, so SAFE are offering a rental guarantee for the first 3 months because they believe, in what we do. So they've said, no, we're happy to do that. So people feel comfortable for the first 3 months that there's actually a rental guarantee there. So, look, clients in general, I would say, depending on the state, it depends on the time frame for build, but most likely about 8 to 9 months.
All right. My experience with NDIS is that upon once the property is completed and signed off and compliant, there's a 3 months leeway within which there's no pay to investors. Does that apply in your case?
Well, not really. I mean, well, I can't answer that because it depends what week we're talking about with the NDIS. We've had registrations for SDA approvals come through within under a week before. Then they're dragged out. Now at the moment, I believe currently they're out to another couple of months again. There's no logic to it. If they could do it in under a week before, why is it now dragged out again to a couple of months? So, but I guess the main thing is that you've got a 3 month rental guarantee anyway. So you don't have rent coming in no matter what. We might be in a position that we've got a tenant lined up for the property. We can't put them in until we get approval. That's fine. They can go in as soon as we get approval. So, but definitely having that 3 month guarantee means that they're pretty safe for that first 3 months, no matter what anyway.
So what is the timing in terms of an investor receiving his first rental income? At what point will that kick in?
Well, from when it settles and they go on a single part contract that first month, because as I said, they got a rental guarantee for the first 3 months.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Anthony, I also would like to mention that the timeline it depends whether the land is registered or not.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So obviously you can't do anything until the land registers.
Correct.
We're trying to get properties where land rego is not that dragged on. But at the same time, some investors might like that. Right? Some investors might like the idea that it's going to drag on a bit longer because they want to drag it on. I mean, how some clients they like to buy off the plan. They like to have things like that. It's a similar thing. So we're trying to mix it up with locations, different styles and different timelines, so that there's something in the mix there for everybody, so that someone will go, well, I like that one, because whatever reason, doesn't matter. You can show them 3 and say, which one do you like? And I like that one. Or I want to buy a share in each one of those. The idea with this is meant to be more of a product that you let the client make their decision based off what they want, because all of it's good. It's all top shelf NDIS property that we're building. It just depends on which one they want. So.
Yeah, right. Thanks.
Just a point of clarification, Joey. You dropped the word earlier, SuperVest. What is SuperVest? How is SuperVest connected to this presentation?
Yeah, if you are going to answer that, Joe, if you want. So SuperVest are SuperVest, you may have heard of them before. They used to be called One Contract Property. So SuperVest specialise in creating a 2-part contract and bringing it across to be a 1-part contract for people investing in their super funds. So when they want to buy in a super fund, you can't buy a 2-part contract. They go and build it as a 2-part contract. They pay for it. They pay the holding costs. They do everything. Then they effectively sell it across to the person's super fund at the end as a 1-part contract. So taking that principle and system of what they were doing with that, they thought, well, hang on, we can do this the same way. It was safe, where we build it and run the holding costs and run everything on this side. Then we sell it across to safe property at the end, as being the person, not the super fund of the investor. It just happens to be safe property set up as a business, whereas they're going to retain, and they're treating it as an internal investment business for themselves, where they're going to retain 65% ownership. They'll sell off the 7 shares at 35% of the balance, and they'll own it. So SuperVest are the company that effectively run the safe product, and Raymond at SuperVest is a very experienced accountant himself, and very a lovely guy. We work very well with Raymond and the team over there at SuperVest. We've done quite a few SuperVest deals ourselves, and they work very well, and clients like the product. So
in other words, you are collaborating with SuperVest in terms of SMSF.
Effectively, yeah. So like they, it's our product we're using, but it's their structure that they use, right? So the whole idea of safe property is that it's because we know with our product that it's a good product to be using, and they know that. So that's why they came to us and said, well, we want to really try and lean on you guys and use you guys as much as we can, because we know you can get tenants. And remember, they're a 65% shareholder, so they want to make sure they get a tenant as well, right? They don't want to be in a position of not having tenants. So in all of this, we're sort of collaborating together with both of our strengths and joining together. So,
what about SDA providers? Who is doing the management of the safe property investment?
So we do that as well. So we own our own NDIS SDA management business, SDA Management Australia. So we're one of the leading management companies in Australia. We're in the middle of a merger at the moment as well, with a larger group. So that will mean that we have a lot more.
Which group is this, Anthony?
Well, it's called SIC, a Social Impact Company. And basically, we're merging so that we can, it's the old case of, the compliance in this sector is mind-blowing. It's getting harder and harder. Not only that, but we're very aligned in our values with Social Impact Company. And the whole idea of merging with them is to bring in the strength of numbers. We're going to have a lot more access to locations and a lot more ability to be able to manage the property stronger and better. When we do merge, it'll make us the 3rd largest SDA management company in Australia, and probably in the next 6 to 8 months, with other plans we have going on, will be the largest as well. So our idea is to effectively, I won't be shy about it, our idea is to be the biggest and the best SDA provider in Australia, and is to block out and basically stonewall all of the other knuckleheads out there building rubbish properties, and will only bring on good properties under our management.
Anthony, let me interrupt you there. I have sold a few NDIS, and I have enough experience in the past to tell you the truth. You're a salesperson like me or like us. And we've seen and heard your presentation before and from other people in order to do the numbers. And unfortunately, some of those people are not able to deliver.
That's right.
Not even the 3 months rental guarantee or 10 years rental guarantee. why should we buy properties off you? Do you do your own what we call due diligence that the location of the NDIS properties are not oversupplied, just like other people do? That they just try to build and then try to sell it to us, and then we just learn after the client has bought it that the place is oversupplied and there are no. We're fighting the same. Every NDIS property owners are fighting for the same resource of tenants, and that's why some of these properties are not rented out. How can we believe that you can deliver the promises and pledges that you're making?
Good question. Firstly, I'll cover off the rental guarantee. It's not us, SDA Management Australia, that's offering it. I'll be very clear about that. If we're offering a rental guarantee, run for the hills, okay? Because any management company offering that, dangerous, right? Safe themselves are offering that out of their own pocket and their own side of the fence, okay? That's their thing. We don't offer a rental guarantee when we sell our own NDIS product at all, right? Because we don't believe we need to. What it comes down to is we've been in this industry for 6 years doing what we do. And as I like to say to all people, the proof's in the pudding, okay? With all of the managements we have over 95% occupancy rate in all of the homes that we have under management. Nobody in Australia has over 95% management rate, okay? So the proof's in the pudding. In other words, what we have built has got tenants. We often, at the moment, we're about 97% and we're often sitting at 100% management occupancy rate, okay? I say 95% because I don't want to talk it up and make you guys not believe me. If I go any higher, then you're not going to believe me. Right? But the proof's in the pudding for us. We own our own management business. A lot of these companies and guys spruiking property don't, and they then try and find somebody to do the management for them later. I can tell you now in the last 2 months, I've had 2 specific phone calls from 2 of the biggest builders in Australia, building SDA. They don't have management. They're ringing me asking us to manage their properties for them. And we're telling them no. The reason we're saying no, their properties don't meet our criteria. Right? Their properties aren't good enough for us to bring on under our banner, under the SICK banner. We're not going to bring them on. It's that simple. We want to stop these guys from building this rubbish. We've got a company at the moment came to us with 14 houses in the one street, in the one cul-de-sac. Right? We don't want this rubbish. We want to stop these guys from building this rubbish. And we're trying to band together to create a big enough model that enables us to control the market and say, no, we're not going to bring your property on. You want to build rubbish, we're not going to bring it on to manage because we only bring on good quality stock. So all I can say to you is the proof in what we do and build against everybody else is that we have over 95% occupancy rate because we build a good home in a good area at the right level. And we make sure whatever we build is, as you saw before, is to a quality where mum and dad owner of that property could sell it tomorrow to another mum and dad owner. They wouldn't have to sell it as a disability house because it doesn't look like a disability house. It looks like a regular house. So we've spent a lot of time working with providers, figuring out what is the best design for us to be building, the best design elements to be putting in these homes so that we get tenants in these areas. There's no magic list. There's no magic. You might have 10 people today in that area looking to rent, but by the time you finish your house, you might have none. But you might have no people today looking to rent, and by the time you finish your house, you might have 10, right? So there's no logic in this marketplace. What there is relationships. If you have good relationships with care providers, then you'll definitely be in a good position to be able to provide good quality product to them that they will see and they will grab hold of that. I'm not scared if an area says it's oversupplied or all that sort of stuff, because 9 times out of 10, it's oversupplied with rubbish that nobody really wants. And that's why they're not. In the last 12 months, there's been 8,000 homes built Australia-wide. There's currently just over 1,000 of them have tenants.
Can I just, sorry.
You go, Peter, sorry.
I just want to, can you just clarify the guarantee? Because there is a little bit of confusion from my side. I've talked to someone at Supervest who mentioned that the guarantee is if the tenant dies, then they will 3 months, they'll guarantee the rent while they're getting the new one. But
no. We've got a guarantee from Supervest that says that they will pay the advertised rent on that brochure for the first 3 months.
Okay, great. No, it's not because I'm saying that Yeah, I'm saying that to clients, but I want
Yeah.
to clarify, make sure that was 100% correct. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
just once
thank you.
again, we just got to keep it through us, and we'll tell you the right information.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's good. I'm glad.
Because
That's
if
good.
there's generic, so remember, there other people have different deals with super vests, right? You guys are lucky.
Ah, okay.
to us,
Yeah, okay, I get it.
right?
I get it.
So
get it,
property
get
in a box, guys, I'm telling you, we've done a deal with super vests that no one else has got, right? So if you buy through us, if you were to go direct to super vests and try and do this, you'll get paid way less, right? We've done a deal on purpose because we do the builds. We're able to help put in and contribute towards helping fund your guys getting paid good commissions on this product. So going through property in a box is a massive, massive like advantage for you guys versus even if you went direct to the horse's mouth, you're not going to get the same deal.
I was just looking for some information. I didn't want to do with them directly, but I was
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to find.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, just so you know, right? That like definitely you guys are on a better wicket than you're going to get going direct.
But I'll
So-
back that up. If you go to Superbet, they'll just confuse you because they got their own properties that are not the same, and it'll just get
That's right.
So,
Because
100%.
obviously they're trying to keep relationships with other people and they're trying to do things, but whatever, that's their business. My business is making sure that, you know, and me and Chris have sat down and worked through this, that we want to look after you guys, and there's a reason why you're on property with property in a box. And that's because you get advantages you don't get anywhere else. Okay. And the whole idea of the deal I've done was so that I can give you guys an advantage that you're not going to get anywhere else. So, you know, you're going to get those advantages in a big way by working through the property in box banner. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah. Thank you for that, Anthony.
No problem.
We have like few questions from Kaiser on the chat channel. If you don't mind reading it and answer, please.
I can't see the chat channel. Why can't I see that? What am I doing wrong here? Let's have a look.
Menu down the bottom of Zoom, there should be the chat icon next to the
yeah,
share
sorry,
screen.
it is too. Sorry, I did not see that. Okay, in regards to show these numbers to clients as shareholders, is there existing projects with the growth rate as shown in the presentation? Well, it's only a new product, okay? This has only been up and running for sort of 3 or 4 months. Mind you, we've already sold about 7 complete houses already. All right, so we've only just started. We've only hit the tip of the iceberg. There's one property in a box member that's probably sold 4 to now 5 of those homes himself, just totally himself. So you guys need to all start a competition with a whiteboard and try and outdo each other, because at the moment he's leading the way, right? He's leading the footy tipping comp big time. And to be honest, he's, you know, making a small fortune out of this product because he's killing it and doing really well out of it. And there's no reason why you guys can't do the same thing. So in regards to show these numbers to clients as shareholders, is there existing project with growth rate in the presentation? No, because I'm just using a standard growth rate for the area for what we believe it's projected going to be. There's no existing product yet for this because we obviously are only new with the safe product. Just use standard area growth rates. I tend to use anywhere, depending on how conservative you want to be, anywhere between 5 to 7%. I don't like to gloss it up any more than that. I think 7% is a fairly realistic number because that sort of says every 10 years or so you're going to double in value. And if you're in a major sort of capital city, then that's a reasonable enough number to use. I think a comfortable enough number to use. What sort of adverse scenarios which we need to lay to clients, and how would you go? How to go by it? More likely the question revolves around reduction of income, any costs involved in regards to any damage done by tenants. Yeah, so you got to think of it as they're owning a property, right? Just if they don't get a tenant after that 3-month guarantee's up, if a tenant's not going to be in there or they lose a tenant, they'll lose some rent for a while, like a normal property, right? This is not like a magic scenario that just gives them money forevermore and it's all wonderful. It's just like owning a property, but just reduce the number to 5%. So if they have a cost, a dishwasher blows up, right? Then they'll put a new dishwasher in there, and at the end of the month, they would have taken out the cost of the dishwasher and they would have charged you 5% of the cost, right? So just think about the overall concept of doing normal property, but just shrink it down to the bite-sized version for that investor and say, well, yeah, it's all relative to your upside is relative to your downside. There's no difference. It's all going to be relative. Is there a report from STA Management Australia published to show? No, because we don't have reports. I mean, it's such a variable thing, especially in this space. It's so tricky, you know, like, you know, we know, I mean, look, a tenant can die in this space and we've had a number of tenants pass away. Okay, it's not a space where it's simple as being you can just pump out like at the local Ray White and you can figure it out. There's many reasons why you might lose a tenant in this space, and there's many reasons why it might be hard to get a tenant. Okay, because there's a lot of challenges in this space. There's a lot of parties involved and people involved in this space, which makes it very, very tricky to sometimes be able to get that tenant, you know, organised and get him in a position. So once again, high rent. But if you like, higher challenges and higher, I don't like to use the word risk, but you know, higher risk in getting a tenant because of the fact of the nature of what we're doing here, right? If they don't like it, go and buy a regular property. But this is a different way of doing it, but that's just the nature of the beast. So that would be a great document to have to showcase the back. In fact, well, it would be great to have, but it's not something, as I said, I don't like to quote figures on rental. We just say to them, look, this is what our internal numbers are. And we know it is, and we know that the numbers are good. That's why we have people ringing us, a number of people ringing us on a daily basis, wanting us to manage their property because they're all hearing how good we are at it. But we're only taking people on that we believe have properties that are good enough to bring on. So we're very, very fussy about that. Is there government websites where we can also see NDIS participants and showcase clients' demand and product? There's all sorts of fancy websites, right? There's a wonderful website that shows you where literally every single person in a suburb and what their disabilities are. You know, down to like there'll be 18 people with Down syndrome. There's 9 people with autism. It gives you the full spectrum, right? The issue in all of this is, and you want to start going down rabbit holes with clients, right? There's nothing that shows you SDA approvals. It doesn't matter about how many people in this. There could be 9,000 people in your suburb that have disabilities. If no one has an SDA approval, mute, doesn't matter. Right? The SDA approval is the problem because you have to have an SDA approved participant to move into an SDA approved home. If you don't have the two, you won't get a tenant. It's that simple. So there's nothing that will show you an SDA approval, right? So this is the thing. There's no magic list. Everyone wants to act and talk like there is, but there's not. What there is relationships, and that's why we're good at what we do because we get on the phone, we speak with these care providers, and we work good relationships with these guys. So they put people in our homes based on good relationships, right? So there's no magic list or no website you can go to see all these things. Is fractional investing under ASIC rules? No, it's not, because you're buying it as a tenants in common property. If it's under a unit trust, it gets very, very, it's very, very tender ground there because it's very much like financial planning sort of model, and it falls under all sorts of different guidelines. When it's bought as tenants in common, it's a regular property purchase. No difference to a brother and a sister buying a property together, 50% ownership, right? It's a similar sort of model to that. Is there a PowerPoint presentation we can use? The properties available in Fusion. The PowerPoint presentation effectively you can use is the one I just did today, which I believe Joey said is up there for you guys to use. Okay, so we're giving you all the white label stuff you need and all the resources you need. There's a frequently asked questions you can email out to clients. You can use that presentation. You can go nuts, right? If you want to create a webinar and you want to get 5 or 10 people on there, Tony, who works with me as well, and we can host the webinar for you. Happy to do it, right? Get the volume on there, and we'll happily work with you and your clients to do that. Can you name a few websites? Well, because I don't go hunting for them because it's all useless information. No, it's all just type in Google government disability, you know, numbers or statistics, and they'll come up with different websites for you to look at. You start going down those rabbit holes, it becomes really problematic because even if your clients bring it up, you've just got to come back to the fact that we deal with a company that has an over 95% occupancy rate with their management, and that's why we deal with them, because they can get tenants in the properties, because we own our own management business. 99% of the guys building these properties out there don't own their own management business, including the massive ones that are coming to us trying to get us to manage their company, their properties for them. So that's why I believe it's definitely something that, you know. Commission side of things, you happy to talk about that, Chris?
Yep, sure, mate. Go for it.
So obviously you guys, as I said before, you're on a very different wicket to everybody else out there, right? The property in box. So per 5% share that you sell, you get paid $10,000 plus GST, less your property in a box takeout. So basically, you guys are a very good wicket. Now, you've got to understand that also, the other part I love about this is you're getting paid very fast. Once the client pays their full deposit, that's when you guys get paid. You're not waiting for settlements in 8-9 months' time or 50% here or 50% there. You're getting paid now. With the way the market is now, and it's a bit soft, there's no doubt about it. Everyone's probably sitting there thinking, oh boy, I'm not getting any inquiry and the world's terrible, which it sort of is at the moment. We're seeing it too. Definitely, this is the product to be jumping on if you want to make sales, because I reckon it's going to be the product that sells right now, no problem. And if you want to jump on a product where you get paid fast, this is the one as well. All right. So to me, very, very good commission structure, very, very good speed of getting paid, and a great opportunity for you guys to get cracking and earn some money fast. Yes.
Just to clarify that, Anthony, when it comes to the commission,
Yep.
so it's $10,000 plus GST.
Yep.
Members receive $8,000 plus GST, and we retain $2,000 plus GST. So it's 8,800 inclusive of GST to members and 2,200 to property in a box.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you that Supervest, they're paying $5,000 total. Right. So we've been able to, because of the way we've structured it with our business and us being involved in the build side, we've been able to contribute to this process as well. So you guys get some good comps. But you're going to get more than what even going straight to them will get. Right. So being property in box member, these are your advantages, right? Because this is what we want to bring to you guys. Yes, XDA numbers, thanks, Peter. Projections are in government issued publications. I Googled some and there are tables yet there. Have a look through it, read through it, but don't bring it up with clients. You go down rabbit holes you just don't need to, right? That just don't take clients on journeys that are going to make it your life harder, because it's seriously, like, I've done this long enough. You just got to keep it simple. Don't try and confuse it, make it too hard. Properties are on Fusion, I believe. You've got the new system being developed now so that it's all separated there, it's safe, obvious.
That's right, Anthony. And Janelle would like to talk about it, like how to search for the safe property investments on the portal. I actually just sent a link there. This is the landing page, everyone. This will be sent via email as well. This landing page will have the FAQ, again, info pack that you can discuss with your clients. This same presentation is also uploaded in that landing page, on the landing page. And we also have there the reservation process. Again, it's simple. Anthony and his team made it really easy for everyone. Again, there's an EOI, send it to us. 2,500 initial deposit. That's per 5% share. So if there are two shares, for example, so that's a total of $5,000 initial deposit, and the balance is payable on exchange of contract or at contract signing. And again, in 10 to 14 days, the single contract will be issued to the clients for signing. I think it's via Panda Doc, like similar to DocuSign. So that's a simple process. Yeah, there and of course everyone will be across. Everyone will be updated when the contracts are issued. Everyone will get a copy of it. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? Some good questions today, and I like all the challenging ones. It's always good to hear the hard ones.
Thank you, Anthony. I remember you made this presentation before. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. Thanks for today.
I haven't seen any sales from you yet, Bob. That's why I made it again.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good reminder. I'm right now in Brizzy and going back to Sydney on Sunday. So yeah, it's a very good option, certainly, and looking forward to impress you.
Look, I think the thing is, it'll take time to get the wheels turning, right? It takes a bit of time to get your head around it, to get your marketing going. But look, you will start to see the momentum happen. I'm telling you, it's one of those products. It's like a snowball. It will get momentum, and you guys will start to kick some serious.
And I think you are feeling a vacuum in the IS space, which is kind of about time, because there's a lot of those things going on standalone investors that developing some angst, and which are avoidable stresses, I must admit, and I think Chris can vouch for what I'm saying here. And and still Chris has to respond to my emails in the past. In the past, are you there, Chris?
No,
How are you, mate?
not bad. Yeah, I was going to
Okay.
ask you, Bob, is that picture of you where you're in
Yeah.
the National Karaoke Championships?
I got a background here on the beach, so my daughter's place in Brisbane, and yeah, looking forward to do some business with you, Anthony. But bear with me if I kind of irk you sometimes, because these things need to be addressed. Hard questions has to be asked so that we can satisfy future clients. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
look, I
From
mean,
experience.
yeah, it's a journey. I get it. It doesn't matter. It's a journey. We're all on it. Times are tough right now. You know, things are slow, a bit quiet. I'm just speaking for me and a number of people I've spoken to. I'm pretty sure you all guys are on the same boat. So definitely just bear with this product, because you know it may not be kicking as hard as it should be. Eventually, I think this product will be one of our key products, because for all of us, I just think it makes sense. It's got so many reasons why it can work for so many people. We just got to get used to the fact that there's two ways to buy a product now, buy a property now, you know, and I think that's the key, you know.
We're excited. We've done about, like, I've done 5 presentations on this, and we got to refine the process, but it's looking really good. So yeah.
Well done.
Whatever help you need, guys, happy to help. So let me or Tony know, and we're happy to jump in and give you a hand if you need it. So
Okay. Thanks,
Right,
Anthony.
Very good product,
Alright.
Anthony. Janelle?
Thanks again for your help, Anthony. And I got to just mention too that Anthony's helped me with sales personally when I was doing some transactions back in the day. And as you guys know, I've got a lot of builder relationships, and there would be no one that would provide as much support as Anthony. So if you've got clients and you're struggling with the first 1 or 2 sales, give them a call. Act as a facilitator, not as a salesy type person. Just be the facilitator and coordinate a teleconference call between yourself and Anthony. He's happy to take calls anytime, 3, 4 in the morning, whatever. So make sure you give him a call and use it, because you only need his help a couple of times, and you'll find it's actually quite easy after you've done the first one.
we're trying to set up
Ask
systems for you guys.
Anthony,
So
what
you
is your
can
role with the Safe Investment Property? Are you the director there, or
Sorry, say again.
are you one of the directors?
No.
So what's your role there?
Well, my role is we do all the NDIS and management side. Safe, it's their investment structure and strategy and portal. We're providing the product like we would to you guys if you're selling one of our regular homes. We're providing it to Safe to sell as one of these type of homes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so
Can I
the
bring
what's in it for Anthony is the sale of the properties.
And the management when we do the management.
Management, yeah.
SDA, SDA management.
No,
So
just
Safe,
what we're doing now.
Safe is the financing, basically, for structure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a smart model, because effectively what they're saying is we'll come up with 65% and we'll get you guys to give us the 35% as a deposit, and then we'll do all the stuff and we'll fund our own investment journey. I mean, it's not a bad
Good for
model,
them.
right?
Yeah.
If you can
Makes
do
sense.
it. But that's the beauty of it. They're not hiding from that. They're part of the journey. So they're a 65% shareholder. They don't want it screwed up either, because it's 65% for their problem. All right.
Yeah, I use that in my sales now, because when people are a bit hesitant about getting into this space because of the risk, I'm saying, look, the investment fund doesn't want to lose their money, so you're actually better off doing it with them than doing it on your own, because you've got a much bigger organization pushing to fill the tenancies.
And there's no debt being held against the property too, right? So it's a very weird financing structure they've got set up. They've got finance on the 65%, but it's not held against the property. It's held against another structure they've got set up. So there's no issue with, you know, if they were to go broke, they would just sell their 65% share. Someone else would buy it, and the property would just keep running. Wouldn't matter. So, you know, it's a very safe structure in what they've set up.
Anthony, can I ask you a question in regards to your marketing for tenancy?
Yeah.
Say, for example, when do you start marketing for tenancy among candidates in the area of properties that are to be tenanted? at
We start marketing
the
for the
construction?
for the tenants. We start marketing basically when the slab's being put down.
Being what?
When the slab's laid for the property, that's when we start
Right.
marketing for a tenant.
I
We
see.
have to. We have to spend 6 to 7 months at least in the beginning, you know, bringing that property to the market, telling people about it, nurturing that process with all the providers in the area. And that's why, you know, we're getting tenants to move in pretty quickly up front.
Great, thank you.
Yep. All right, guys, anything else you need to know, let me know. But other than that, thank you for listening in, and hopefully we can help you get a few sales. As I always say to people, you know, don't sell it, teach people, right? You want to teach people why they need to be doing this. And as I say to the guys, I don't sell to people. I educate the fear out of people, right? My job is to educate the fear. The only reason someone won't do something is because they're scared. And if you just educate them, they're not scared anymore, suddenly they'll do it, right? So that's what this product's about. Just keep teaching people, educate them around all the pluses and the reason why it's good for them. And, you know, they'll eventually see that, hopefully, and make it and jump on it. So that's the key.
Excellent.
Thank
Thanks
you,
again,
Anthony.
mate. Appreciate
No
your
worries.
support.
No worries at all.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thank
you.
See ya.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
No worries. Thanks, guys.